こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材はブライトンの三笘薫に関する動画です。ブライトンはプレミアリーグ第25節でチェルシーと対戦し、3対0で完勝しました。前の試合のチェルシー戦と同様に、この試合でも三笘が素晴らしいゴールで先制点を挙げ、ブライトンファンはもちろん、フットボールファンがみんな興奮しています。今回は、ブライトンファンのチャンネルである、アダムス・マクドナルズチャンネルから、チェルシー戦での勝利と、三笘薫のゴールについて話している動画です。三笘以外のプレイヤーも、特にミンテに関しても称賛したいということが感じますし、三笘のゴールは、もうなんて言ってよいかもわからないくらい、ただ信じられないゴールだと言ってるように感じますが、プレミアリーグのシーズンのベストゴールにノミネートされるだろうとも話します。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょ
う。So let's get into the game, because what a result it's been, and what a night at the Amex. Oh my god, I need to catch my breath. So, I mean, in terms of the team, it was essentially the same team that started against Chelsea a week before in the FA Cup. The only change that we made, obviously, Lewis Dunk getting in that injury. Was it just before the second half? Just before the first half? Just before half time in the FA Cup game? Adam Webster obviously came in that game and played so well, and he came in again, started in the starting 11 tonight against Chelsea, and he was absolutely fantastic again. He deserves his whole section in this show. I think we could talk about Adam Webster, and I'll come on to him briefly later on, but he put in a fabulous performance. He was the only change from that side. Otherwise, it was Hinshelwood and Baleba still in midfield, Lamptey left back, Veltman right back, Verbruggen kept his place in goal, Rutter and Welbeck in a kind of two, but kind of one behind, and then Minteh and Mitoma on either wing. It's unbelievable the way our wingers are playing at the moment. Minteh and Mitoma are absolutely unbelievable. But I genuinely don't think defences can cope with them at the moment, particularly Mitoma, and we're seeing it increasingly with Minteh. We've known for a while that Minteh, ever since we saw him in Japan in pre-season, you can tell that he's a player who, when he's one-on-one against the defender, he's got that real ability to take players on, chop in and out, and he's a finisher. The one thing I loved initially when I saw Minteh was the fact he wasn't just someone who kind of could get the ball at the pitch, take players on. He was actually a really good finisher, and he had an end product to him that was so surprising for a player who's only kind of 19, 20, 21 years old. And he showed it again tonight. We saw in this game, and we saw it last weekend, the ability to those four forwards, João Pedro, Danny Welbeck, Jorginho Rutter, Mitoma and Minteh, when they pin the Chelsea fullbacks back, when they pin the Chelsea central defenders back, they keep everyone high and wide in that pitch, they can do some real damage. When they hunt down the ball like crazy, they win the ball back, their counter press is unbelievable. The energy is fantastic. And I think having two players like that who are so direct, we know about Mitoma. We know Mitoma is a player who loves to get us up the pitch, take players on. He's best in a 1v1 environment. But to have it on the other side as well. We slightly had it with Solly March under the Zerbi when he kind of revolutionised Solly March. He became a player who wasn't massively direct, but actually ultimately became a goal-scoring winger. And we're seeing that regeneration of that. Obviously, with Solly March being out, we've had to kind of, try different things. We saw Simon Adingra play a lot last season. Minteh, though, has that real directness, and we saw this against Chelsea. Gusto, Cucurella could not deal with it, particularly in the second half. And we'll get on to it. Cucurella was in absolute bits at times up against Yankuba Minteh. And for that third goal, the second goal that Minteh scored, Cucurella was all over the gaff, absolutely all over the place. And, let me just pull it back for a minute. I feel like my mind's everywhere. But if I just pull this whole game back for a minute, I think it's so nice to reflect on these games. Because I remember doing a video back in 2022. It wasn't a YouTube video. It was on Twitter, and it was just after Graham Potter left. And it was that moment where the whole fan base, the whole club, it kind of felt like the world was ending a little bit. It felt like, where do we go from here? Like, we've been taken on this journey. It's changing style of play. We've brought some fantastic players through, and the manager's left us for Chelsea. And we've had that beaten over the head from us again and again and again. Player X leaving, player Y leaving, scout leaving, manager leaving. The ripping the heart and soul out of the club. Well, actually, they haven't ripped the heart and soul out of the club. They can take all the players, all the managers they like. But actually, what we've proven, nights like this make those kind of bad moments, those difficult moments, so worth it. Being able to do it twice in a week, where you actually put Chelsea, a team who've tried to rip everything out of you, tried to copy you completely, don't even try and do it authentically, just copy it from source, unashamedly, paying over the odds for it. And we were able to put out a side who are regenerated because of that money, who are young, who are hungry, who are dynamic, who are energetic. Everything that Chelsea aren't, well coached, organised. It's so good, and it does make it feel like everything's worth it. You know, I was sat there thinking, you know, those awful moments when Potter was, you know, you didn't know at the time that it was going to be all right, but it felt like your heart was being ripped out of you. It makes it all worth it, you know, seeing Cucurella getting booed, seeing Caicedo getting booed, Sanchez getting booed, obviously not playing tonight. You know, all three ex-Brighton players on the floor, you know, just those kind of moments, the pantomime element of it makes it so worth it, and it's so good to see. I don't know, I genuinely don't know who to start by talking. Get into the first goal. How about that? Let's start with the first goal, because I think that's probably one of the biggest talking points out of this game. The first goal from Mitoma was absolutely out of this world. One of the best goals I've ever seen from a Brighton player. It's got to win Brighton's goal of the season. I think it's up there for Premier League goal of the season. We've seen this countless times from Mitoma, to be fair to him, in terms of the touch. But that finish, it was like watching a world-class player in their prime. It's like something you'd have seen from 20 years ago when you're watching a Bergkamp or someone like that. Unbelievable. And, you know, in the context of Brighton turning down £75 million or whatever it was for Mitoma from Saudi Arabia, I said it at the time, I would rather have a player like him at my club on the pitch for my team than I would 75 million quid in the bank. I don't care about £75 million in the bank at this point for Brighton. We don't need it. I would so much rather see a player with that game-changing quality, that star quality. It's so rare to have a player like that who can literally, every time he touches the ball, you want to get off your seat. When he's on form, when he's fit and fiery, and he's one-on-one against the fullback, that is some of the best. It's one of the best feelings of a fan that I can feel. You know, it reminds me of probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago in the Championship, Anthony Knockout, when it felt like every time he got the ball on that right wing, he was going to do something special. He was going to beat his man. He was going to chop in and out. He was going to get the ball in the box. He was going to score. And he really captured my heart. Really captured my heart. Because I'd never really seen like one player like that be so magical with a football. And we see it again with Mitoma. He has that, you know, no wonder there are fans flying from all over the world to watch this guy. It's unbelievable. That touch is probably the best touch in the Premier League. The fact he was able to do it with the ball coming over his head when he can't even really see the ball, bringing it down, bullying the defender around him, and then tucking it into the bottom right-hand corner. It's unbelievable. And look, they'll be interested in him in the summer. Of course they will. 27, 28 years old. Maybe that is the perfect time for him to get a move. Who knows? But I think we will keep him. Personally, I think we will keep him. I think we'll turn down good money for him. However, you can't deny he's an elite player. I've questioned before whether he scores enough goals, whether he has enough end product. He's fantastic at getting us up the field, at weaving in and out of players, gaining territory for us, making defenders kind of a bit confused and therefore maybe helping others create chances. However, what we're seeing more and more this season is actually the fact that Mitoma is scoring goals. He's creating assists. We've seen it particularly in the turn of the new year. We are seeing it so much more. And it's been really, really, really impressive. And, you know, it's up there with one of the best goals I've seen. I just think it's special. You know, it's something that will live long in the memory that.
次は解説です。アダムの英語は比較的に聞きやすいですが、何言っているか彼自身も分かっていないような時が時々あり、文法的にも少し崩れることがありますが、比較的簡単なボキャブラリーを使っていると思います。今回も難しい表現はほとんどなかったので、イギリス英語でしか使わないものや、スラング的な表現もありますが、トイックにも出るような日常会話で使えるボキャブラリーも多く解説していますので、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。We're seeing that regeneration of that.
リジェネレーションは再生、復活という意味で都市開発、生物学、精神的回復、スポーツのチーム再編などの文脈で使われます。特に都市開発では都市の再生、 生物学では細胞の再生を指します。また、サッカーなどのスポーツでは、チームの主力選手が入れ替わり、新たなチームが作られることをチームの再生と表現することがあります。日常会話ではあまり使いませんが、ニュース記事やフォーマルな文章ではよく登場します。
And we're seeing that regeneration of that. We're seeing that regeneration of that. Correa was in absolute bits at times up against Yankuba Minteh.
インビッツはイギリス英語の口語表現でひどく落ち込んでいるボロボロの状態という意味で、特に感情的に辛い時や物が完全に壊れてしまった時に使われます。アメリカ英語ではデバステーテッドやハートブロークンという表現がよく使われます。また、物が壊れている意味でも使われ、イギリスの映画やドラマを見るとネイティブがこの表現を使うのをよく耳にするでしょ
う。Correa was in absolute bits at times up against Yankuba Minteh. Correa was in absolute bits at times up against Yankuba Minteh. Correa was all over the gaff, absolutely all over the place.
All over the gaff はイギリス英語の口語表現でめちゃくちゃな状態、バラバラな状態、散らかっているという意味で、特に人や物が混乱していたり、整理されていなかったりするときに使われます。また、サッカーの試合でディフェンスが乱れている時にも使われ、守備はめちゃくちゃだったというような時に使われます。アメリカ英語では、all over the place が一般的に使われます。
Correa was all over the gaff, absolutely all over the place. Correa was all over the gaff, absolutely all over the place. I think it's so nice to reflect on these games.
リフレクトオンは振り返る。深く考える、顧みるという意味の表現で、過去の出来事や経験を振り返って学びを得たり、自分の行動を見直したりするときに使われます。ビジネスや日常会話、アカデミックな場面でもよく使われるフレーズです。
I think it's so nice to reflect on these games. I think it's so nice to reflect on these games. We've had that beaten over the head from us again.
ビートオーバーザヘッドは比喩的な表現で何度もしつこく言う、責め立てる、何度も強調するという意味です。誰かの頭の上で何度もしつこく叩くイメージから来ており、日常会話ではしつこく繰り返されるアドバイスや批判に対して使われることが多いです。特にアメリカで使われる口語表現でカジュアルな会話でよく使われますが、ビジネスメールなどフォーマルな場面ではあまり使われない表現です。
We've had that beaten over the head from us again. We've had that beaten over the head from us again. The ripping the heart and soul out of the club.
Rip the heart and soul out of something は確信を奪う、魂を引き裂くという意味の表現で、組織やチーム、コミュニティなどから最も大事な部分を奪うことを表します。特に重要な人物が去ることで、グループや組織が弱体化したり、活気を失ったりする場面でよく使われます。
The ripping the heart and soul out of the club. The ripping the heart and soul out of the club. Unashamedly paying over the odds for it.
Over the odds for は何かに対して相場以上の金額を支払う、割高な値段を払うという意味のイギリス英語の表現で、odds は通常確率、可能性という意味で使われますが、ここでは適正価格や相場を指します。特に高すぎると感じた時や、相場よりも不当に高く売られている時に使われます。
Unashamedly paying over the odds for it. Unashamedly paying over the odds for it. It's the pantomime element of it makes it so worth it. It's so...
パントマイムは身振り手振りだけで表現する演技、無言の劇という意味の単語です。語源はギリシャ語で全てを模倣するという意味があります。特にイギリスでは、パントマイムは、クリスマス時期に上演されるコメディタッチの演劇であるパントマイム劇を指します。ここでのパントマイムエレメントは、演劇的な要素や大げさな演出や振る舞いを指し、比喩的に茶番や見せ物としての面白さというニュアンスを持っています。
It's the pantomime element of it makes it so worth it. It's the pantomime element of it makes it so worth it. It's so... When he's on form, when he's fit and fiery and he's...
ファイアリーは火のような、情熱的な、怒りっぽい、刺激的なという意味の形容詞で、語源はファイアに由来し、文字通り燃えている状態や、比喩的に熱意やエネルギーに溢れた、激しい感情を持つことを表します。ポジティブな意味ではエネルギッシュで情熱的、 ネガティブな意味では怒りっぽくて気性が荒いというニュアンスがあります。
When he's on form, when he's fit and fiery, and when he's on form, when he's fit and fiery, and he really captured my heart, really captured my heart.
キャプチャーワンズハートは文字通りですが、心をつかむ、魅了する、感動させるという意味のフレーズで、人の魅力や芸術、風景などに心を奪われるときなど、ポジティブな意味でのみ使われ、感動や美しさ、魅力を強調するときに使えるフレーズで、恋愛、芸術、音楽、旅行などの話題で役立つ表現です。
He really captured my heart, really captured my heart. He really captured my heart, really captured my heart.
いかがでしたか？誰もがこれまで見た中で最高のゴールだったという表現をしていますし、本当に実際そうであるくらい最高のゴールでしたね。本当にシーズンのベストゴールにノミネートされるでしょうから、それくらいのゴールを三笘から見れたことが本当に嬉しいです。またしても三笘への期待が上がった気もしますし、チェルシーが獲得に動くというニュースさえすでに出ていますし、三笘は本当にこういうプレーができるんだということが、誰もが知っている上で、再度認識できたというようなプレーだったと思います。また継続して、こういう素晴らしいプレーが見れることを期待して、次の試合も応援したいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。